Hello, I hope whoever is watching this is doing well today. Um, I'm going to make this video called Evolution or Revolution, how we can save our planet. In the science of Marxism, it's studied that a certain part of Darwinism is observed, right? Because Darwin really studied and helped bring in to a more clear, conscious understanding of evolution. So it's observed in the theory of evolution, the science of evolution, that humans, animals, nature, everything on this planet, the planets, everything, it evolves over time. Evolving, break it down simply, right? Evolving is changing form to better suit its environment and to develop. Develop into more complex structures of life and prosper more, be more strong. Throughout the course of history, we humans have evolved on a biological level. Of course, we've evolved from monkeys. When there was monkeys, we were going ooh ah, jumping around everywhere, throwing poop at each other. But now we have evolved consciously as our relationship to our environment has evolved. It's observed in Marxism that as we are in contact with our environment and we change our environment to suit our needs, that our consciousness improves. And when we conduct science, when we come up with reasonable logic and theories in our head about how we can better our situation and how we can change our world, our environment to better suit our needs and to better serve us, we progress our thinking and we become smarter, basically. So throughout history, as we have evolved biologically, mentally, emotionally, we've also evolved on a collective level. We've evolved as a society. Humans have formed simple societies. We've gone from hunters, gatherers. We've formed nations, countries. We've formed empires. And our socio-economic structure has evolved with our consciousness. Because whenever we're able to group together and organize ourselves in a way where we all benefit from acting as or we at least are better off, whenever we group together, we conduct that science too, the science of sociology. We try to improve our society. So for all throughout history, we've been evolving. But Marxist science looks at the science of revolution and Marxism Leninism. Leninism really developed revolution. So, what is the difference between evolution and revolution? Evolution happens naturally, it's going to happen regardless. As our consciousness improved and we went through the tests of our environment and we preserved and we have stood the test of time, naturally our bodies have developed to better suit us in our environments. Our societies, our collective societies have improved because we've gone through trial and error in human history with our societies and seeing what works and what doesn't. And we've developed the science of sociology, interpreting our society and how to improve it. So these things will always happen naturally. So that's why in Marxism it is recognized that eventually, regardless, we're going to have socialism and we're going to get to communism, classless, classless, cashless, stateless society where everybody contributes based according to their ability and all of the individual needs of the members are met. But revolution is a science of speeding up that progress, of directly using science, manipulating certain variables in our society, in our experiment, our sociological experiment of life and society, manipulating the variables so we can turn the outcome to make this process quicker, evolve quicker. Revolution, society will naturally develop over the course of thousands of years. We've seen that. For thousands of years, humanity was stuck in empires and building empires where one group of people controls the other by divine right. And so Marxism has theorized capitalism. If you read Das Kapital or Capital by Karl Marx, he scientifically broke down how capitalism is going to turn out. It cannot sustain itself because capitalism is set up to always be increasing the productivity. When the productivity stops increasing, then capitalism fails to work. And that's why we've seen the United States, they've had to subjugate their own people. They had to subjugate and commit genocide against Native Americans, commit genocide and atrocities and enslave black people. And now they're putting down any country that's not developed enough to defend itself against this tyranny. The United States is subjugating them and using their imperialist policies to make them submit to their will and have a capitalist dictatorship in their country so they can take their resources for cheap, use their capitalist system so only pay the workers of that small developing country enough to survive and get their little supplies for the day and live in their mud hut homes while they take all those resources, bring them to the United States and sell them for a cheap price because the economy is higher up. Because these poor countries, they have a lot of resources, but their system is not evolved enough. You know, they haven't organized themselves structurally in the labor force. You know, and the United States took advantage of that because that's the past 100, 200 years. The United States used slave labor and genocide and all this to build this capitalist dictatorship, and it has to keep on oppressing other people and other nations to sustain itself. So the more that the subjugated nations and the developing nations take a stand and fight for their own destiny and don't let the United States push them around, the United States government, then the less power the United States will have and the quicker the United States capitalist dictatorship will end. But it's also up to us. It's up to us, United States citizens, to conduct revolutionary activity in this country. I have a lot of videos. I have a book in the description. You can comment if you're not in the United States. You can buy it from me directly through Cash App or something, or you can go on Amazon and buy it, regardless of what country you're in. There's a link called Socialism in the 21st Century. There's the United States Communist Party link in there too. And I have a lot of other YouTube videos where I explain, and many other people are also doing this work, trying to educate our fellow working class citizens on the science of revolution. Marxism Leninism is the science of revolution. Class conscious revolution. Realizing that if we unite the working class, the proletariat, those are the masses of people. And the masses, it has been scientifically observed in sociology that the masses as a collective force will always win against the ruling small minority group of the ruling class, which is now the capitalist class that rules over the rest of society. That is a scientific fact. So it is directly up to us to put as much time and energy into educating our fellow working class citizens and showing them the necessity of this, not only for all the people suffering, dying from the United States bombing their countries, from the United States starving them, putting sanctions on them, making their life miserable because they don't want to accept capitalism and they don't want to accept capitalist tyranny. Not only for all the people in our own country who are dying, homeless, on the streets, hungry, malnourished, but also because if we don't have revolution soon, there's many paths of history that can happen right now at this moment. And a lot of people in the United States, I feel, remain willfully ignorant to this. The fact that these capitalists are actively destroying our planet at an increased rate. Very quickly, the planet is not going to be able to support this system any longer. And if we allow this system to continue, this socioeconomic structure of capitalism, then we humans will not be able to have this environment to live in anymore either. This is a very important issue because this is our issue. This is really the issue of surviving as humanity. I encourage anybody who calls themselves a communist to do all they can to talk to everybody in their family, their friends, people online, anybody you meet, a stranger on the street. Talk to them about coming together, uniting the working class for the working class revolution, a class conscious revolution, so we can have a working class democracy. As I told my friend this morning and last night, as I explained to many people I meet, no matter where I am, right now they say we have democracy, and in fact it is true, but we have capitalist democracy. We have bourgeois democracy. This democracy is a ruling class democracy. Some people think that anyone can become a senator or a congressman or the president. But the reality is, if we really look at it, you really have to be born into these things. A working class person like me, or probably you, the person who's watching this, has no chance of becoming a congressperson. And even if they did, they have no chance at changing the system fundamentally. Because the system is directly ruled by the ruling capitalist class. And they will continue to allow for this legislation and push for this legislation that gives them and their capitalist buddies the power to destroy our planet and further the killing of our environment, only so they can live as kings while they're alive. Only so they can have control over others and live a lavish lifestyle in their palaces and their big mansions. Only so they can live in luxury. They are literally killing our planet. And of course, this is for us to better our material conditions so we're not wage slaves anymore. Of course, it's about the people and giving the people a better life. But it really is directly also the fact that our future, our grandchildren and great grandchildren will not have a planet to live on if we do not step up and if we do not organize the working class and have a working class revolution in the United States as soon as possible. So I encourage all of my fellow communists to take up this cause and to continue our fight in the United States and in every country across the world. Uh, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this so I can remember. I'm gonna make a next video on some real deep truths that about this whole thing to going to Mars. Long story short, the rich people want to go to Mars and leave us here on a dying planet. Think about it. Have a nice day or night or whatever.